Now that's what I like to hear.
I'm not saying that this is what you have to, this is the drawing, this is a rough of the pattern that we have to stick to. It's my way of telling the artist, this is what's happening. You know, if the artist can come up with a 10 times better way of showing the action, hey, you know, go for it. But, you know, I'm just supplying what has to be there. This is my attitude about writing comics. In the first place, it's like, I never considered myself a writer. I started out drawing. I spent 10 years drawing, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, before I ever got writing again. So I approach writing comics completely from the visual level. I see the whole story as a series of visuals, and then like a silent movie in my head. And then the writing task is sitting down in the word processor describing the movie I see in my head, breaking it down to pages. That's what I give the artist. What I tried to do with this solo Snake Eyes silent issue is to sort of, it's a completely different story than the RA age 21, the silent interview, which a lot of people may know. But I wanted to take that type of storytelling aspect and put into it everything that I've learned 25 years or so since I did that first one. And ramp up the complexity of how many different subplots and connections are going on from panel to panel. So it's all in the pictures. Everything is explained in the pictures. Part of the story is being able to like see something happen and go back to the issues and go, oh, that's why that thing was there. Or that's why the character picked up this. You know, I also choreographed all the fighting by taking out my own stuff and my swords, working it out so that it actually works.
I will say, like, Larry's scripts are amazing to read and they're very entertaining, like as an artist standpoint, because like there'll be reference all throughout and there'll be photos and stuff. And I've even seen scripts with Larry, photos of himself. You can hold the sword this way and you can do this. If I can do it, you can draw it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like different shots of him like going to town. So awesome scripts to read.
Yeah, because I don't, when myself, when I'm looking at comics, I don't like to see fights that are sort of generic fights. I like to see cause and effect. I like to see how something is happening. It's like, you know, when you watch a kung fu movie, it's all one shot. You see the whole thing happen. That's what I like to see. And I like to show all the details. I mean, I show Snake Eyes jumping out of the plane in the beginning. He's got an Uzi. He's got 3 magazines, extra magazines. He's got a fighting knife, and he's got 3 grenades. And as the story progresses, I show how he uses each one of those items. And you know, by the end of the story, he has nothing left. But I've shown how all that, you know, every single bullet is accounted for. So. That's my own particular alien-intensive fascination with this stuff. You know, and that's how I part myself into doing it. You know, pick it up, and the artwork by Joe Benitez is really, really amazing. Not my size. I'm really blown away. It's definitely worth checking out. Thank you.
Also, coming out with that issue is what we call a retailer incentive edition, so it's limited to the number of copies that you get, but we're actually republishing the original G.I. Joe River and Hero number 21 in what we're calling a reprise edition. It's a fully restored, recolored version of the story, and it also has a few extras in the back. It's got like all the covers that have been done since then that are homages to the original covers. So we've got a Ron Friends version of it, we've got an Ashley Boyd version of it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's cool. So that's coming out soon. It is awesome. G.I. Joe Origins, numbers 20 through 23 is a 4-issue story arc. Titled Sedition by Numbers by writer David Lapham, who is well known amongst the comics community, award-winning writer, introducing a new character, and gives us horrifying insight into the Cobra organization. Again, I'm so good at reading slides, it's amazing. I'll just let you read it. It's a very, very cool story. It's closer in the vein to the original G.I. Joe Cobra miniseries, but it is not a continuation of the miniseries. It's obviously it's in Origins. David's got this sort of high concept for these 4 issues that's remarkable, and it really deals with how an organization such as Cobra would go about kind of recruiting and manipulating people into joining their organization and really giving it their own. It's really interesting, fascinating, and horrifying stuff.
It's like,
Those covers are awesome.
Yeah,
Who did those covers?
Werther Del Indiara did the cover on the right, and the cover on the left is by Tom Feaster, the regular cover artist. Who's doing a bunch of propaganda posters for these.
Oh, who wrote that?
The self-centered guy in the middle of the panel. All right, written by Mike Costa with art by Antonio Fuso. The trial of Erica Late-Kane. G.I. Joe Cobra Special number 2 comes out last week of September, if we can hit our deadline. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Some of you who may have read it might know that the first Cobra miniseries that had a special that sort of played as an epilogue to it. So this does the same thing for the second Cobra miniseries, which then became an ongoing and confusingly dropped the 2, and I know it's odd, but if you think of the Serpentor story as just sort of a separate little thing, this is actually the continuation of that original 4-issue miniseries. So I don't know if anyone here has read it, but we have a character, Erica Laten, who was introduced in the first Cobra miniseries. The second Cobra miniseries sort of filled her out more, showed you who her character was, what she was thinking about, why she worked for the organization, and how she felt about it. And then there was kind of a big development at the end that I won't spoil, but this follows up on that development as to what she's doing now and where she's going. And we have Antonio back on art, who did all the art for the first miniseries and the special and the second as well. So this is, when the second trade comes out, this will be the 5th issue. So
yeah, this will be the 5th issue and the second one.
So this is really the final chapter of the sequel to the first Cobra miniseries.
And to your point earlier, the Serpentor story that started with issue 6, so now not Cobra 2, but just Cobra.
Yeah.
That is actually collected with a different subtitle, so that when we get back to Chuckles in the story, it'll actually be volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, everyone following this because it's I can show you
intuitively obvious.
show you flow charts on how to make this all make sense. No, it will be obvious when it's all done. It'll work. It will work.
Speaking of which, G.I. Joe Cobra 10 through 13. You want to keep going?
Okay, so speaking to that obviousness, after the current arc of G.I. Joe Cobra is over, we have the return of Antonio Fuso and the return of that storyline. And Christos is still on.
He didn't write the special, I'm just saying.
Right. Christos is still on the book. I wrote the special alone, like I wrote the previous special alone, but Christos is still working with me on the main book. So we're returning to the storyline following Chuckles and Cobra Commander, and that's the panel of the final image of Cobra number 4. So we get back to that, and this comprises what was originally going to be the 3rd miniseries, and finishes out sort of the trilogy. So Chuckles, at the end of the 2nd miniseries, was in sort of a compromising position, and where that has taken him might surprise you. So I don't want to say too much, honestly, but this will finish off that whole, all those plot threads will be drawn together in these final 4 issues, and this will be it for the infiltration of Cobra by Chuckles.
All right. In the G.I. Joe ongoing series, issues 22 through 27, we are calling Critical Mass or Mass Destruction. We haven't decided yet. For now, it's Critical Mass, which will be concluding the Mass Device story arc, which seems to be a one of contention with some things. We will be introducing Mr. Storm Shadow. Despite the appearances on that cover, he's very pleasant. He loves to drink tea. There's some artwork there, a couple of covers from Robert. Robert, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on here?
Yeah, so with this arc that's coming up, will be issues 23 through 27 that I'll be coming back on and working on. And it's been phenomenal as I got the scripts in for like 19, kind of on, and I've been reading through, like just getting more and more excited about this, kind of what's going on. So who here likes to see classic vehicles in their Joe books? Yeah? You guys are all now my best friends. All right, and who likes to see all-out action in your G.I. Joe books? Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you, this last arc is just outstanding. The stuff I've gotten the chance to draw has been a blast. All kinds of stuff, like armadillos tearing through walls, like his tanks just wreaking havoc, it's awesome. So, so that's like this arc that's kind of finishing up this the storyline that's really began with issue 1. It's just kind of go out with a blast, and so it's a lot of fun, a lot of cool action. We get to see the Joes in their element. Chuck, I've been really happy with how Chuck has split up. He has these small assault teams, that he's kind of established in the book. And they've been fun to work with. You get like these little groups, and you can kind of do a lot of character development with them, and getting a chance to draw them together is fun because you can kind of start building on the camaraderie and the character acting, and get them to kind of just kind of work as a team on these smaller units, and that's been a lot of fun. And then we get to see more of that, and they're just really going all out against Cobra, and it's just some really cool battles. I'm excited. It's a good phenomenon. Yes, big time.
We also have our comics available if you want a comic shop near you, available for digital download on iPhone, PSP, and iPad. Both for all of these, including Astro Boy. We won't talk about that. But certainly all 3 of these franchises will be available for digital if you don't have a comic shop, or if you just prefer to read the digital version. That concludes our slideshow presentation. Questions. So if you have a question for anybody on the panel, there's a microphone up here. You can just form a line, and we will happily take questions from the audience. If no one has a question, we will just bicker amongst ourselves. There, I was just thinking about that. We actually have a slide missing. I was going to not bring it up because I'm too embarrassed. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero is still ongoing and continuing. But for some reason I don't have a slide. I apologize. Larry, do you want to talk about what's coming up in that book?
Well, our age continues. It picks up on where the Marvel series ended way back, and just continues to continuity. The first arc, everything gets reversed. Cobra discredits the Joes, presents themselves as a black collar type organization, and outsources itself to the U.S. government to provide security. And they're now charged with hunting down the Joes around us. So that's the whole first arc. And the second arc involves 2 major characters, one Cobra and one G.I. Joe, getting their allegiances reversed.